Hello, I'm James Lim, founder of the Property Plus system, and today actually I'll be talking about the difference between 991 and decoupling. So what is the main difference of it? So why am I doing this video is that because recently in the news, the government is actually going after these 991 cases, which I'll be sharing more later, and I have a number of cases or potential clients who are actually planning on doing decoupling. So they're asking, hey, is this a main difference? Is government going to come after decoupling? And so this video is actually for you if you plan to do decoupling and to understand the main difference between the two. So come, let's move on to it. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel on YouTube and click on the alert notification. Now, just to share a little bit of the news, IRAS over here has says that they decided to claw back 60 million from 166 private properties exploiting this loophole. Okay, so this is another loophole that the government is going to come after it. So now this loophole basically is that for people actually buying, instead of buying properties together, they are actually doing a subsidy of 1%. Okay, and right now, who is actually authorizing it is our future Prime Minister, Lawrence Wong. And last time he was the National Development Minister, and currently he's the Finance Minister. So he knows about all these loopholes and which he wants to clamp it down. And hence he give IRAS the authority to go after all these people to claw it back. Okay. So, important thing is that this is his statement that he made. So, most important over here that I look at is this word called single joint purchase. So, from his point of view is, he will be saying is that, or IRAS will be looking at is that, hey, why can't you all buy together and you all have to do a sub-sale? And likely in this case, because of not being a joint purchase, therefore, IRAS see as a example in which they want to avoid ABSD. So come, let me share with you this example of this 991 and what is the meaning and how people exploit it. So basically over here I have two parties, okay, or two person A who do not own any property, and one scenario I can give you is that maybe this person is the son or the child of this person B, who is the father. Okay, so now this father maybe likely owns one or more property, okay, or he can be a PR or a foreigner. Okay, if a PR or foreigner, his taxation will be even higher. So just let's do the basic assumption that this is the father. The father owns one property, he has CPF, and he's able to take a bank loan. However, this person A, who is maybe like the son, who do not own any property, is maybe still in the university and has not started work yet, so he don't have any CPF and is not able to take a bank loan. So what are they going to do? So in this case, let's say that the father wants to buy a property for the child, okay? And the problem with it is that if the child buys the property at the time, he will not be able to take a loan and then he will need full cash, which is unlikely in Singapore context. So what they will do is that, so if they were to buy the property together, okay, let's assume that it is a 1 million property, the issue is that ABSD will take the higher of the two, which means if they were to buy a 1 million property, and since the father already owned one property, the ABSD here will be 20%, in which they have to pay 200,000 additional tax. So now this is not what they want to do. Therefore, what they will plan to do is that, firstly, the child will buy the property first, okay? And before it exercise that time, they will actually go down to the law firm and they will first exercise, and on the same day itself, after exercising, the son will sell 1% to the father, and this is what we call a subsidy of 1% to the second purchaser. So this is the second step. Now, right now is that firstly, they are able to avoid paying the tax because currently the son do not pay any ABSD, and the father, since he sold it at 1%, the father now has to pay ABSD. But however, the father will be paying only the 20% ABSD on the 1% of the property. Okay, and right now the ABSD paid 1% of the property. Okay, multiplied by 20% is only 2,000. So instead of paying 200,000, the father right now only pay $2,000 in ABSD. However, or rather, the beautiful thing for them is this. Since the father owns 1% of the property, the father will be able to use all his OA CPF to finance the property and also take up to 75% LTV of the property or 750,000 of the property in terms of bank loan. So this can really help the family a lot. Okay, so what IRAS will come after this is that, hey, this seems to be something wrong. Why can't both of you buy the property together, but yet you want to split the name up? If in this example, it's very clearly that they can buy the property together in their two names themselves. However, by doing this option, this two-step process, the father will be not only will be able to take the loan, okay, he will be able to pay less ABSD. So in this example, it's very clear-cut that they are trying to avoid tax. Now, this is the decoupling example in which I will share with you, and I think that currently, I feel that there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, there's no guarantee that government will come after it. So last time in the past, decoupling was allowed in HDB until 2015. So when 2015 at the time in April, the government stopped the decoupling of HDB, there's no news out there, or there's nothing from IRAS that they are clawing back all this ABSD. So right now, I still feel that, and I believe very strongly is that, using HDB as an example, doing decoupling for private property is legal, okay? It's not illegal. IRAS will not come after you. If not, they have already went after all the decoupling cases for HDB like 9 years ago already, okay? So let's look at decoupling. So decoupling basically is a husband and wife. So in the past or currently, they are owning one property, their matrimonial home. So what they can do is that one of the spouse can sell the stake to his spouse, okay? So party A will still own the original property, and then he will buy over the stake from his spouse. The second person is now free out of all names, okay? And since he's free out from all names, he will be able to buy a second property. I shouldn't use the word second property, okay? I should say buying his first property under his own name, okay? Without any ABSD, as there's no property under his name. So party A will own one property, party B will own a second property. So let's look at the main difference between the two. The main difference between the two is that at the end is that party A will own one property, while party B own two property. And two property, his second property, he actually paid only 2,000 in ABSD and not 200,000. In this example, party A only owns one property, while party B owns one property only. So that is a very big difference between the two. So at the end of the day, some of my clients will be asking me, so what are the potential loopholes out there that, you can still exploit? I wouldn't use the word exploit, but rather I will warn my clients that, if I have such a case, I'll just warn my clients that, hey, do look out for this. I'm not surprised government will one day clamp out on this. So there are two potential loopholes that I can think of, or I've went through my experience. The first is buying a commercial property under company name. So right now, even currently, you can do that is that, let's say you want to buy a commercial property or industrial property for investment, okay? And you can buy under company name, okay? Now, the issue is that if you buy a commercial or industrial property, you have to pay a 9% GST. But are you able to avoid paying this 9% GST? Yes, you can, by buying under company name. So in the past, I've dealt before cases is that people will just, when they want to buy a property at a time, they will just set up very quickly, 10-20 minutes on ACRA, form a new shell company, with a company name, and then they will buy this commercial property under the company name. So they will be able to claim back the 9% GST. Okay. Now, right now, I will say that in 2024 onwards, after looking at so many examples in which the government is going after all these loopholes, like example, going after trust, going after this 991 at time. Right now, I warn my clients, okay, be careful on this, okay, because I'm not surprised one day the government may claim back this 9% GST, which is quite a huge sum, for this type of cases. So I will only recommend my clients to buy commercial or industrial property if and only if your company has been running for a few years, okay, or it is in operation. Most important keyword is in operation. Operation means is earning profit. So if you are being paying taxation if your company has been paying taxes on this and shows that it has been generating profit and it's been operating, I see there's no harm to buy this property under company name, and then yes, you will be able to claim back the GST. But if you just newly set up a company just for the sake of buying and avoid the 9% GST, I think this is tax evasion. I think this is wrong. So I will warn you not to do it, okay? Or be very wary or be prepared for it. Now, the second example I just want you to share with you is 99% to foreign spouse. Okay, so this is definitely, besides being tax avoidance, it is also exploiting the system, which I think is wrong. So let's say there is a foreigner who wants to buy a property and do not want to pay the 60% ABSD. Okay, there's such a thing. I believe you all have heard before in Singapore. There's cases of this thing called sham marriages. Okay, sham marriages. So what happened is that it is possible that a foreigner can marry a local, okay, as a sham marriage, okay, and when they marry that time, they buy a property. While when they buy a property that time, the foreigner will state that he owns 99% of the property, while the Singaporean will own only 1% of the property. Now, because they are married and they are able to produce this marriage cert, which means that it is considered your first matrimonial home. Therefore, the foreigner do not pay any ABSD at all. Okay, so if you do not pay any ABSD at all, however, the foreigner still own 99% and the Singaporean own 1%. After that, the local can actually sell his 1% to the foreigner, and the foreigner will be only paying 1% of the ownership that he buy from on the ABSD, which is 60%. So instead of paying, like example, a 1 million property, instead of paying 600,000 of ABSD, that is 60%, the foreigner only pays 6,000 of the ABSD, that is only of the 60% of the 1% of the property. Okay, so this is potentially sham marriages that is also illegal in Singapore. So these are the two things that I believe the government will come down after in these two examples. One is the avoidance of the GST, and the second one is sham marriages. Okay, so that's all I have for you. I hope that you have learned the main difference between decoupling and 991. So I hope if you find this video helpful, please give up a thumbs up button, and for more content, do feel free to subscribe to us. Any comment, just message below, and I will definitely reply to you. That's all I have for you this week. Thank you so long, and bye.